Well, hello, everybody. We're live on Monday here with Longshore and McKnight. Glad you're with us as well. Conference championship games, college football playoff, bowl matchups. We have got a lot to uncover today on the program. Glad you are with us.
Yeah, we've got John Longshore over there. I'm Barry McKnight over here. We know. You've been waiting for our smiling faces at this time, live Monday morning at 7 o'clock, to try to make sense out of what you saw this past weekend. And John, of course, has enumerated several of those already. Where do we start? There's a lot of, I don't know, surprise, discontent, dissatisfaction, broken hearts.
Yeah.
The results of the conference championship games, and therefore over the results of the college football playoff final brackets. There have been maybe some things, John, that may have set a precedent for the future, including Notre Dame. But I will tell you, the last 4 days have been 4 days that we may remember for a long time because of the impact it will have not only on the football programs involved in the college football playoff and maybe the future of conference championship games, but also the future of bowl games and the future and the size definitely of the college football playoff.
Yeah. Where to start. And you don't certainly want to overlook the conference championship games. I kind of felt late yesterday afternoon, early evening, did Alabama even play in a conference championship game? Because the page had been turned so quickly with, wow, man, they did make the playoff. Oh, okay, now we got to focus on that. And Oklahoma's up next. And, oh, wow, maybe if we beat them, you end up in Pasadena in the Rose Bowl against number 1 seed Indiana. There again, I don't want to overlook what happened Saturday in Atlanta. I kind of felt like it already has been. We've already put that aside because of what's coming. But, the eye test certainly told you Saturday, Alabama's not a very good football team. And I know what we're going to hear. A lot of injuries, a lot of starters out. Georgia started 4 of their possessions in Alabama territory. It's part of the game. Don't want to hear it. They didn't look good. There again, we said all week long, if Alabama loses by 21 or more, not sure they're going to make it.
Didn't seem to matter.
I thought that when the game was over on Saturday.
Yeah. Now, of course, John and I have wildly different takes from all of that. Alabama's not a very good football team? Huh. Well, 10-3, and believe me, it was their very impressive streak of victories over ranked teams in the middle of the year that got them in over a terrible start to the finish and a no good finish to the regular season.
2 things, and I've said this for weeks. Alabama's not going to win the national championship. I do not think this team's good enough to win the national championship. Doesn't mean they shouldn't be in the playoff, but they're not going to win the national title. And I'm a big eye test guy. I've said that for years. I'm not sure, Barry, the eye test was used as much by the committee this year as maybe they have in years past.
Well, here's the upshot. Again, Alabama gets handled by Georgia. That's probably one of the reasons why you turn the page, while you put that to bed. Is because there ain't a whole lot of pick through amidst the ruins of that game. Georgia's a lot better than Alabama. Alabama's win over Georgia earlier this year in Athens, obviously, to the committee, told them more than Alabama's overwhelming loss to Georgia at the end of the year. What it means is, and people will oversimplify this because there's a lot of moving parts in the college football playoff, that Alabama got in despite getting drilled in the conference championship game by Georgia. Meanwhile, Notre Dame, who's not in a conference, sat back and was politicking and pointing to their stellar record and brand and all that, and they didn't get in. So
stellar
what's your
record,
value judgment there?
Yeah, their stellar record with a strength of schedule of 47, I believe, somewhere in the high 40s.
In the 40s. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and there again, I go back to the eye test. Notre Dame looked pretty good toward the end of the year.
They did.
Miami
they
looked
won 10 in a row at the end of the year.
Times.
Yes.
But when you look at all these data points and matrix and whatnot that they actually leaned on pretty heavily, something, I don't know what the difference between SOR and SOS. I guess SOS is strength of schedule. I'm not sure. Is SOR strength of record?
Whatever it was, Notre Dame was SOL.
Yeah. I mean, those two categories, their numbers weren't very good. And I get it. Start playing better people. Hey, Notre Dame, join a conference. And this attitude of I'm taking my ball and going home. We didn't get in, so we're not going to a bowl game. I mean, okay, Notre Dame, fine, play that way. And I'm with you. I think what Notre Dame has done is going to cause some reevaluation and shifting in the world of college football. And everybody's got an opinion and a debate. Should JMU and Tulane be in? We should maybe Notre Dame and maybe another big school. Who knows? But I do think, I heard a lot about Alabama's win against Georgia in September. That was a huge data point. The big streak in October, that was a big data point. There again, they lose 24-20. Are they in the same position? I wonder if Alabama's still playing at Oklahoma if they lose by 3 compared to 3 touchdowns.
I don't think there was room for a lot more upward movement because the teams in Alabama, the teams ahead of Alabama, except for, maybe 2 instances, took care of business. You knew Indiana, Ohio State, one of them would win and the other one would drop, but it wouldn't drop much. It wouldn't drop below Alabama. So I'm not sure there was enough room for upward movement, but I think the people who are oversimplifying this is that Alabama got in and Notre Dame did not. I don't think it was Alabama versus Notre Dame. I think BYU certainly had a comparison point. They lose badly in the Big 12 championship game against Texas Tech. BYU ended up losing 2 games this year. 2. Alabama loses badly in the SEC championship game, their 3rd loss, and they're in. So I understand why people are frustrated about that. I never considered it. And of course I was pretty busy myself over the weekend, didn't have a ton of time to think about it, but I never, even when Alabama lost in the fashion they did, and believe me, it was a decisive loss, that they were not going to be in. I thought they were in regardless, unless it was 49
I wonder, though, Alabama comes in as the number 1 seed. Virginia came in as the number 1 seed in the ACC. Okay, they get beat by a touchdown, and I'm thinking, well, why didn't they get in?
The other thing about that, talking about Virginia, and I watched that game. I had a chance to actually watch, the end of Virginia.
I'm watching that game, Barry. I'm going, how did Duke go 7-5?
I'm wondering they have a very good quarterback who played under John Summerall at Tulane last year. But I'm with you. The real issue there is not how did JMU get in and Notre Dame did not. Again, it's not one versus the other. That is probably the one thing in which the College Football Playoff Committee actually down the line followed their bylines, followed their rules, so to speak. Duke was not is the champion of a conference that is rated lower. That champion is ranked lower than the champion of the Sun Belt Conference, ranked lower than the champion of the American Athletic Conference, JMU and Tulane. That's why JMU got in, is because Duke beat Virginia. And the ACC champion was lower rated than the Sun Belt champion. You may not like it, you may not believe it, but that's the truth. And let me tell you, James Madison is the truth. I don't think they go out to Oregon and beat Oregon, but for those people who are saying, man, why in the world is a group of 5 even in there? Why are they in? Those are the bylaws. I mean, those are the rules that were set up way before this past weekend happened. Now, Virginia, I kind of wondered a little bit how Virginia won 10 games myself. They're not great, but there's no reason in the world why the about 33,000 fans in attendance at the ACC championship game should not have seen Virginia hoisting that trophy.
Yeah.
That's up there. That's on the ACC. That is an ACC problem, not a committee screwed this up problem. The committee followed the rules, John.
I didn't think I'd ever see it. Obviously, we're not living in the 70s and 80s or 60s, 70s, or 80s anymore.
Even though John still listens to that music.
Yes, quite regularly. That Notre Dame kind of got, I don't know, jobbed by some other schools. I mean, that didn't happen back in the day, folks. Notre Dame didn't get treated like they did yesterday back in the golden age of college football. I mean, Notre Dame's sitting up there going, oh, we're in. Oh, yeah. Ain't no worries.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, no worries. Until they're not. And so now Notre Dame's not in. They're not happy. They are, after all, Notre Dame. And they evidently took a vote among the team members who were raw and chapped and uncomfortable and emotional. And they decided that, they ain't playing in a bowl game. They're not. They don't want to. They're mad. And why not? Why not have one more chance to play football with the 2025 class of the Notre Dame Fighting Irish? Because their feelings are hurt. They're mad at the NCAA. I don't know if it goes as far as saying they want to teach the NCAA a lesson, because ESPN's making their money. ABC's making their money with or without Notre Dame, but it is a seismic thing to where obviously they don't have conference brethren to take into account, where the conference can say, look, you're playing in this bowl game. You have conference members who are depending upon that bowl revenue. We have Notre Dame ain't got an existing contract with anybody. They are the only school in the country that can do what they did without repercussions. And now you're going to look at other schools going, that sounds like a good idea.
I think we've already bent over backwards for Notre Dame to allow them to be a part of this and give them a lot of benefit of the doubt. I heard yesterday, Barry, beginning in 2026, if Notre Dame finishes in the top 12 of the AP poll, they're in. No matter what, they are in the playoff. Doesn't matter what happens to JMU or Tulane or Duke or Virginia. So what? They're in. I'm thinking, how many more little rules are we going to make for Notre Dame?
Well, there are some things that will be definitely addressed in the offseason. Again, I don't have a problem at all with how the committee handle things. And I don't get into all of this. Well, so-and-so had this metric and such. I don't think there's any real ulterior motives. But I do wonder how much pull Notre Dame has. Can they affect a change? The most easy change, the one I think that people are pointing towards, is enlarging the playoff. That way Notre Dame always gets in, and the Catholics aren't mad and all that. The other thing is that they can massage a little bit more, within reason, the games, the bracket a little bit. It's like Bill from Baltimore says, seriously, the committee couldn't fix things to avoid 2 repeat first-round matchups. Yeah, Alabama, how do you feel about taking on Oklahoma again?
Barry, I think that's probably the best matchup Alabama could have asked for.
In Norman versus number 8.
We talked about it. 3 turnovers killed them. The stat sheet was off the charts. Oklahoma, good team, certainly beatable. I think Alabama's got to feel pretty good about that if they can get healthy. This team's got 2 weeks to get healthy. They have got to get healthy. Then, you got to go against Indiana, who I was impressed with Indiana
Wow.
against Ohio State. And that quarterback is solid.
He is something.
He got the hell knocked out of him on the first play. I'm thinking, he's done.
This is a game changer. They got no shot. What do you do? He missed, he took about 45 seconds to collect himself, and he came on. He was money. The winners, I think, over the weekend, Indiana. They beat Ohio State 13-10, and they beat Ohio State by doing something I didn't think was possible, and that's being more physical, or at least as physical as Ohio State. And Fernando Mendoza was the best player out there. Indiana now has a first-round bye. Well, they'll take on the winner of Alabama and Oklahoma in the Rose Bowl. The other winner, I think, is Georgia. Whew. Man, they look good. Texas Tech to a smaller degree, but Georgia is strong.
Yeah, they're solid. They're again, they've recruited extremely well. They always have a ton of talent. It's we're kind of baffled me what Alabama's done to them in the regular season the last 2 years, but that team is hitting there. And it's interesting you say that, Barry, because a lot of these guys, I had the TV on yesterday afternoon doing a bunch of stuff and listening to what some of these guys are saying. Two things. Bama, they all are picking you to beat Oklahoma, which I'm thinking, trouble. Bama's a 1.5-point favorite in that game on the road, and a ton of them like Georgia to win it all.
Yeah. And then, they would be one of my favorites, too. Somebody just texted me real quick. There are two repeat matchups in the first round of the playoff. One of them, of course, is Alabama, Oklahoma. The other one is Tulane against Ole Miss.
A game Ole Miss won by
45-10.
35 points. And Booger McFarland was all over that. Tulane and JMU don't need to be in the playoff. We can talk about that today as well. Look, you want the 12th best team, or you just want to, we're going to let you get in. I mean, there was a lot of that sentiment yesterday as well. And I think Tobias has looked at my cheat sheet from the championship game. How'd you see this, Tobias?
Yeah.
We're going to get into some of that when we get back from the break. Tom Luganville at the bottom of this hour, ESPN college football analyst. He'll break it all down with us today as well.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
The dreams that matter most happen while we're awake, because they're the ones that remind us of the places we want to go, of the ideas we plan to pursue, of the legacies we hope to leave. We understand you have goals to meet, and we want to help you reach them, to fuel your vision and invest in whatever motivates you. So we want to know, what inspires you? Synovus Bank, member FDIC.
Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry is an Alabama-based, family-owned and operated business that specializes in dry cleaning and laundry, serving the river region since 1941. There are 12 convenient locations across the river region. Find one close to you or call 481-1911 for free pickup and delivery. For 83 years, Central Alabama has trusted Jim Massey's Cleaners and Laundry. You should too.
Okay, about 19 minutes past the hour here on this Monday. As I mentioned, Tom Luganville joining us here in about 10 minutes. I want to thank our good friends at Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. You can watch us there, video content, write-ups each and every afternoon about the show. Also, we're on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, Spotify, Apple Tunes, everywhere you can get your downloads and podcasts. We are there. You can watch, you can listen. We greatly appreciate it. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, tell all of your friends. So the conference championship games, Alabama in particular, talked about it all last week. Hey, if I'm Georgia, I'm looking at that Auburn game film and saying, hey, maybe we should blitz this team on a pretty fairly regular basis, which did, and it happened. And Alabama had no answer, offensive line issues, running backs that can't block, can't run, can't move the chains, tight ends not effective. Are they going to get that corrected in 2 weeks?
Have you ever seen an Alabama football team rush for -3 yards? They played that whole game against Georgia and lost ground in the running attack.
Yeah, I saw a good stat yesterday, Barry. See, there's 16 teams in the SEC, 14 teams in the SEC on Saturday rushed for more yards than Alabama did.
Well, that's an issue. That's been an issue. And the run game and the offensive line deals. Let's face it, Ty Simpson has been above average, I think. Average to above average over the last 4 games, not counting Eastern Illinois. And they cannot be successful if he's only slightly above average. They need Ty Simpson to be great.
Yeah, I don't think Ty Simpson has just over the last month turned into a crappy quarterback. Yeah, no. I think he's got to have some help. And his offensive line is not producing. If I see 74 getting whipped again, I'm thinking, yeah, this guy's going in the first round? Really? Don't see it. I mean, the running back play, I'm watching this kid play in the state high school championship game. I'm thinking they can't get him on campus quick enough.
Oh, heck yeah. There's E.J. Crowell from Jackson. Holy smokes. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. But you know what really got me, Barry? It was like reminiscent of the Oklahoma game. I guess Ryan Grubb looked at the play sheet and said, it didn't work against the Sooners. Let's see if it works here. Not that it was going to make much difference, but it was a fourth quarter play, 4th down and about 2. And they decide to run that. Let's throw it all the way toward the sideline over here. About a 25, 30-yard throw to pick up 2 yards.
The opposite sidelines, yeah.
And I'm thinking, hadn't you already learned from that play? That ain't going to work.
Where have you gone, Major Ogilvy? The Crimson Tide Nation turns its lonely eyes to you. Woo, woo, woo. I would be remiss if I didn't point out the fact that, again, the first-round games, I think, are going to be pretty good. I never have really been into all the politics, all the fans screaming, look at our metrics, look at our SOR in the middle of the season versus BYU's SOR, and you can't tell me that the win over someone, that stuff, knock yourself out. But I'm looking at the games, and there are some pretty good games. Miami, Texas A&M, to me, is probably the best one out there. I saw James Madison in 22-degree weather on Friday night in the snow. There were 3 things that impressed me about James Madison: their offense, their defense, and some of the arms they've got in the student section. Man, to throw a snowball 30 yards when it was windy like that was difficult. Yeah, they lost control of that. That was an embarrassment to the Sun Belt Conference. But I'm just telling you, when you can miss me with all this stuff about, well, there's no reason a G5 team should be in there. That is the one thing that the College Football Playoff Committee absolutely would not get off of, would not get away. They followed the rules, and those are the rules. If Duke had not beaten Virginia, James Madison wouldn't be in, and Notre Dame would. There was going to be a group of 5 team in there. The fact that there's 2, don't look at it like it was JMU who took or Tulane who took Notre Dame's bid. JMU was the champion of a higher rated conference champion than the ACC had. And those are the rules. They did that part right out there. Also,
whether it's right or wrong, I wonder if that's in the future going to be changed. That, I think there's a lot of things that are there. Again, I heard so many people yesterday saying this system is still flawed. We don't really know what's going on. There again, why? And I guess it's television, it's theater. Why are we having these ranking shows 3 or 4 weeks out and then they flip-flop on the last one? I can see where the frustration is. I can see where the confusion is. Now, wait a minute. What are we doing here? What matrix are they looking at? To me, I wish it could be just as plain as simple as high school football and the NFL. We know how you get to postseason there. There's no committee. There's no matrix. There's no puppet master back there. I mean, you pretty much know how you get there. And to me, the fan base out there scratching their head going, what the hell? What's going on out here?
It is, it's like what we used to say about church. Maybe some people still do, but church, it is obviously a reflection of God, but it is a creation of man, therefore it's flawed. Same thing with the college football playoff. Same thing with the bowl system. It is a creation of human beings, therefore inherently it is a flawed deal. Troy will be playing in Montgomery in the bowl game. They play Jacksonville State. It's coming up on Tuesday. It's a late start at 8 p.m.
Boy. You got a little less than a week for that one.
Yeah, I know. We've got to get moving on that. I thought Troy would go to a higher bowl game, a bigger payout than that. They were finished second in the Sun Belt Conference. Nothing wrong with Montgomery or the bowl. I'm looking forward to it. But there are people who are not real happy with their bowls, and there are some people who believe that, man, if Notre Dame can turn down a bowl game, the bowl just north of us in Birmingham, they got Georgia Southern out of the Sun Belt Conference, and that's a good bowl for the Sun Belt. But since Notre Dame since Notre Dame turned down the bid, there weren't enough eligible teams. So they're asking just for somebody to play Georgia Southern. They asked like 5 or 6, 5 and 7 teams. Auburn was one. Kansas State was one. Iowa State was one. And they said no.
Central Florida, Baylor, I believe.
Kansas State. They finally got Appalachian State to say yes. Appalachian State's not very good. They're 5 and 7. And they played Georgia Southern a month ago.
So what does that do for the bowl system? And I got to tell you, Barry, I'm looking at all the bowl games yesterday, and I'm trying to, kind of look ahead, and I'm thinking, who? I mean, finally got to Texas and Michigan. I go, okay, there's 2 teams that I'm familiar with. That seems like a pretty good matchup. Vandy and Iowa. But there's a lot of these matchups I'm thinking, wow, I don't know about that one. I wonder there again, how does this affect the bowl system? When people are opting out and
coaches are changing. A lot of these coaches aren't coaching their teams in the bowl games.
You kind of alluded to it, and I know TV's running it, but Tuesday night at 8:00. Oh,
I'm all for it and everything, but man, some of these makes you wonder. Well, there are questions. Again, the college football playoff, I feel like we need to go ahead and, let everybody know the college football bowl playoffs begin. The first one comes up on December the 19th, 11 days from now. It'll be Alabama and Oklahoma. The winner will face Indiana. Then on the 20th, we've got 3 games. 11 in the morning, Miami at Texas A&M, which I like. The winner of that one plays Ohio State. The 6:30 game on the 20th. I'm sorry, the 3:30 game on the 20th is Tulane at Ole Miss. That winner faces Georgia. And then the nightcap is at 6:30. Number 12, James Madison takes on Oregon. That winner takes on Texas Tech. I like it.
Barry, I got to tell you, what my feeling about games that aren't on Saturdays? I got to tell you, I do like the Alabama-Oklahoma matchup on Friday night, the standalone game. I do like that. I want to get into that a little bit more. And crypto capstone, I think you also looked at my cheat sheet as well, because I thought the same thing. We'll ask Tom Luganbill about it when he joins us after this next time out.
It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Known by avid golfers as one of the most beautiful and challenging stops on the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail, Cambrian Ridge in Greenville lies just 40 miles from Montgomery. It is well worth the ride for any golfer looking for 27 holes of jaw-dropping golf. The greens have been redesigned to accommodate the higher green speeds associated with their installation of the latest generation of ultra-dwarf Bermuda grass. Cambrian Ridge offers a fully stocked pro shop with all the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Cambrian Ridge for tee times and more information. Marguerite's has done it again. Famous for their $99 Christmas special, and Lyle has come up with the best I have ever seen. Half-carat stud diamonds, $99. That's right. Half-carat stud diamonds, just $99. But there's a limit of 3. So you need to hurry out to Marguerite's in Peppertree on Vaughn Road, adjacent to Chappie's Deli. Marguerite's, of course, is open extended days and hours during the Christmas holiday shopping season. So make sure to take advantage of this year's incredible Christmas $99 special. Half-carat diamond studs, just $99 from Marguerite's exquisite jewelry. They make it. They really make it at Marguerite's. Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 29 minutes to the top of the hour. Our next guest, Tom Luganbill, ESPN college football analyst, brought to you exclusively by our friends at Riverbank and Trust. Riverbank and Trust with locations throughout the river region, throughout the state of Alabama. For all of your personal and business banking needs, turn to Riverbank and Trust.
Good morning, Tom.
Good early morning to you for me, boys. I'm out in Colorado.
Oh,
I got here at about 1:30 in the morning local time. That's 3:30 my time. And so, but that's been par for the course. But I'm getting a little break here. I'm going to go cut up some slopes.
That's what when you said Colorado, I said Luge is probably going to hit the trails today. That's awesome.
I'm hitting the trails for about the next 5 days. Exactly what.
So, where are you skiing?
We've mapped out. We always try to do something like this the first week or first 2 weeks in December, and we've been able to pull it off with the schedule that we've had, up until kind of now. And so I kind of had to finagle it this time. So coming out to Colorado, we're going to go to Breckenridge and stay in Breckenridge, and then do 5 days where we kind of split between Breckenridge, Keystone, and Vail, and get back into one of my favorite things to do. And just for me, to be honest with you guys, just step away a little bit. Yeah. And so yesterday, Sunday, would have been my 14th straight week of 7 days a week. So I'm good to get a little break. And then guess who I'm going to see next Tuesday?
Okay.
Hey, okay. Hey, all right. There we go. Tom is coming to Montgomery.
Again, I had this one last year too.
There you go. I'm looking forward to that. Although I'm looking for a better game than the last time
we saw. Just going to say that. I'm hoping the outcome's a little different than
the old
last time.
Well, we'll get together next week and get a group photo, Luke.
Absolutely. I would love that.
All right, listen, so many things to get to. Let's approach it chronologically. What's the best thing you saw from Conference Championship Weekend?
The best thing that I saw from Conference Championship Weekend, well, tongue-in-cheek, I will say it was Duke beating Virginia. Because if you've watched the last 5 weeks in the ACC, that conference has thrown up all over itself. And I was asked on set, we were doing a pregame show on site. We had to pick our winners. And I said, I think Virginia is the more complete team, but I'm picking Duke. Have you paid attention to the ACC the last 5 weeks? Every single time the team has a chance to take the driver's seat and move forward, whether it was Tech, whether it was Miami, whether it was SMU, Louisville, Pitt, even Virginia went down. They all just screwed it up. Everybody contributed, right? And so now you find yourself, left out of the playoff, and you really have you have nobody to blame but yourself. But I will say this, and I don't know quite yet what I'm going to do with my Heisman vote, but I think my biggest takeaway was Fernando Mendoza at Indiana and his toughness, his grit, the big plays and the big moments. That 4th and 2 call to go for it with 2 minutes and 48 seconds
Charlie B
to go. Yeah. And the ball that he throws is such a low percentage, completed pass. And they call that on 4th and 2, and the kid just drops the ball right in the bucket. Holy smokes. The other part of that game was Indiana's dominance at the line of scrimmage. Ohio State couldn't run the football. And so I thought it was a really nice showing for Indiana. Really didn't matter in the grand scheme of things, right, as the college football playoff is related. But as always, the championship weekend is fun because, to be honest, isn't it kind of a week 0 of the college football playoff?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people describe it that way. Okay, so I'm a big eye test guy. Obviously, data points and matrix was the key and the top priority with this committee. Your thoughts about the teams that got in and the ones that didn't?
Well, I'm going to start off with something I think is getting glossed over here just a little bit, because all of the talk's been about, Miami and Alabama and Notre Dame and, what took place there. But when you peel back the layers a little bit, you got to be pretty upset if you're Texas A&M. You did not play and you dropped. Now, what did that mean from a seeding standpoint? That means instead of playing Tulane or JMU, you're playing Miami. If that drop doesn't happen, you're playing one of the group of 5s. Instead, you get Miami, and you didn't do anything to drop. So
Ole Miss at 6, Texas A&M at 7.
There it is. And so if I'm A&M, I'm going, man, that's a little bit unfortunate, right? Because seeding's a pretty big deal. Makes for a great game between A&M and Miami, and I think 2 evenly matched teams. To me, guys, and I know the process has been flawed in terms of communication, presentation, how the committee went about dealing with Miami and Notre Dame going back 8 weeks ago. Okay. And it is so hard to fathom that Notre Dame could sit at home, right? That first rankings release, they were 8 spots above Miami, despite the head-to-head win by Miami. And to go each and every single week where the outcome for both of those teams' remaining games was virtually identical. Both teams were dominant. They actually played some common opponents. Okay. Nothing really changed. So how all of a sudden did it get to this point? Ultimately, I think the committee did the right thing by honoring head-to-head, but the way they got there is such a bad look. The optics of it are awful, and it creates distrust and discord amongst everybody that's watching this process unfold. And listen, if you don't honor head-to-head there, can you imagine the chaos that you set yourself up for in every iteration going forward? Because now we're going, why are we playing the game? Why did we schedule that game if it's not going to matter? If you don't go and honor head-to-head there, imagine what happens to the week 0 and the week 1 games that we all love. They're gone.
No more. Yes.
They're gone, right? Nobody's going to agree to do it. And I get it. What if Texas had played Ball State in week 1 instead of Ohio State? All right. What if Notre Dame had played Northern Illinois? All right. Which, bad example because they lost to Northern Illinois. But instead of playing Miami. All right. And so that part of it, if you don't honor that head-to-head, I think you create even bigger problems that have already been created.
So in Notre Dame's case, they played Miami and Texas A&M. Do they need to play more big-time teams?
Well, listen, I think my personal take on Notre Dame is that they're a college football playoff team. I think everybody's getting a little sick and tired of all the whining and the woe is me and the entitlement and the unwillingness to join a conference and have 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the ACC. They played multiple teams that had 3 or less wins on the season. I mean, they played back-to-back weeks against Purdue and Arkansas. Both of those teams are combined 4-20. All right. You had Syracuse, you had Boston College, Stanford was awful. But there's some common opponents in there with Miami too. So I understand why the metrics were so close. But maybe to some degree, yeah, you would probably have to schedule one more if you could. But Notre Dame's going to play the service academies, and that's going to always be a part of their mode of operation. Maybe you go back to getting Michigan State or Michigan or somebody on the schedule to try to beef that up. But at the same time, like I understand where Notre Dame is coming from. I think they've acted very emotionally charged in the last 24 hours, knee-jerk reaction. And it seems to me like their entire goal right now is to tear it all down. And not just the college football playoff, the bowl season. Because once you light that fuse and you give these teams the ability to do that, and then everybody else starts falling in line, teams that are bowl eligible, that is a really bad look on the sport.
Alabama doesn't exactly go into the college football playoff with a head of steam, right? But they're in at least. What's your takeaway, overall general takeaway from Georgia winning that SEC championship game in the manner in which they did?
I was so perplexed about what has happened to Alabama on offense. What has happened to Ty Simpson? He doesn't look comfortable. He doesn't look confident. Where has the accuracy gone? If you watched that game the other day, they couldn't get the ball downfield. I mean, it was check down Charlie in the passing game. And I will say this, nobody's talking about the 2 touchdown passes they dropped in the end zone. So, they didn't play well enough to win. And they looked like the second half version of the first go around, only this time for 4 quarters. And they were terrible on 3rd down. So you couldn't sustain any type of drive. That couldn't help you keep Georgia off the field. Georgia was the better team on that day. Alabama got them before on the road. And I think that win carries a lot of weight because at the time, I want to say Georgia was number 3 and you beat them on the road. You could make an argument that was one of the best wins in the entire college football slate when it comes to ranked wins on the road, given the opponent. So they're limping into this thing. I understand what the committee did with their entire body of work, referencing the fact that they played 4 straight ranked teams without a bye that had never been done in college football. They made a huge play and a 4th down decision against Auburn on the road to beat Auburn in the Iron Bowl. But even that being said, everybody's up in arms about this whole Miami Notre Dame thing. I think they should be a little bit more up in arms about Notre Dame and Alabama, because Alabama narrowly escaped that Auburn game, and they moved them up over Notre Dame. And Notre Dame went out and hammered Stanford. Now I know Stanford's not a very good football team, but at the same time, Auburn's 5-7.
We had this question on our chat line today, Tom, and I thought about it while the game was being played. Would it have done more harm than good to maybe let Ty Simpson sit on the bench a couple of series against Georgia in the second half?
I think maybe it might have given you a spark a little bit here and there. But nobody has a crystal ball, right? I think that there were more things going on than just Ty Simpson. I mean, they're banged up at the running back spot. They don't have their tight end. Obviously, several defensive guys of significance did not play in that contest. But you know what, guys? Everybody's banged up this time of year. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's limping to the finish line. It's a long, long year. I think, I think that's an individual feel. Maybe, looking back on it, I didn't necessarily feel that way watching the game. But you look back on it, and maybe that would have been the better option potentially, even if it's just to get a spark to create a big play or start to mount a drive, maintain possession of the football. I don't know. I think the hindsight's 2020 there.
With Notre Dame, voting not to be in the bowl system, turning down any potential bowl invitations, there's a trickle-down effect. The Birmingham Bowl absolutely scrambling to find somebody and getting turned down by 5 and 7 teams. The long-term future of the bowl system as we know it, will it look like this still maybe 5 years from now, do you think, Tom?
I think no, it won't. But I think the only way to salvage it is you go to a 32-team playoff structure and you include the bowls in the playoff structure, meaning that you're going to have far less opt-outs. You're going to have teams that want to play. You're going to have far less animosity at the end of the decision of the college football playoff committee when it's all said and done. Because we also have to acknowledge here, guys, that if you expand to 14, we're going to have the same argument on 15 and 16.
Yeah.
Right. That's just going to happen. But I think once you start to get into that 32, you start to really separate teams that should be in it versus teams that shouldn't be in it. And I think you could incorporate the bowl structure in that regard. If you don't do something like that, then I don't know how the bowl structure currently survives in its current model. There's just no incentive. You just said something that is mind-boggling, and that is 5 and 7 teams that didn't even make bowl eligibility are saying no. I mean, holy smokes. Well, I mean, what have we gotten ourselves into here?
Yeah.
Vegas thinks Alabama's the better team as of today against Oklahoma a week from this Friday night. What about you, Tom? What is this game going to shape up like? What are you seeing in Norman? Next week?
I think both of the teams, guys, have the same exact problem. They're a mess right now on offense. They've performed and for by and large much of the last 4 to 5 weeks of the season have been led by a defensive structure. If you go back to that first game in Tuscaloosa, the only thing that Alabama did not dominate in was the turnover margin. They turned it over 3 times, and Oklahoma didn't. They completely shut down John Mateer, right? But they had so many self-inflicted wounds. I'm becoming more and more alarmed about Alabama's inability to make routine plays in the passing game. The dropped passes that have plagued them all year long at inopportune times. You just can't have that junk. I mean, it's really set this offense back, and they just don't seem like they have a lot of confidence. But I feel the same way about Oklahoma. Is offensively they're out of sync. They're off schedule. It's you may get a play here or there, but then they'll stall out for several series in a row. And once again, preservation of the football, I think, will probably be a big component in this game. If Alabama can do that, then, I do think that they are probably the better team overall. But you have to give Oklahoma a lot of credit for the gauntlet they ran to get into this position. Yeah. When you look at that team after they lost to Texas, and you were looking at the schedule after that game, you were trying to figure out how Oklahoma was going to get to 8-4, right?
Yeah.
And so credit Brent Venables and what he's done with that football team, because they have found ways to scrap and claw to win games.
Well, now Tom has a little time to decompress, John, before coming to Montgomery and cranked up.
By the way, real quick, guys, and I know you're probably not going to find this overly friendly, Barry, but we have got to stop treating the group of 5 teams like equals. There's a different level of talent. There's a different level of depth. And the reason why there's a different level of football is because not everybody can play at Alabama. Not everybody can play at Clemson, right? Players develop and they grow and they mature at different rates. And, This is one of the reasons why the group of 5 programs are really struggling to retain their players, because when you go out and you bring a guy in, you identify that guy and you develop him for 2-3 years, and all of a sudden he becomes a power 4 guy. He's gone. Well, you don't just plug and play, because that's not how those programs are built. But this entire situation that we've been discussing for the last 24 hours completely goes away. You want Notre Dame in the tournament? You want the decision to then be made between BYU, Vanderbilt, and Texas? Take the 2 group of 5 teams out, because we're sitting here talking about the 12 best college football teams. They keep saying that. We don't have the 12 best college football teams in the college football playoff. And I listen, I have a tremendous amount of respect. This isn't a knock on the job that Bob Chesney's done, or John Sumrall has done, and what they've done with their football teams. But guys, we just saw Ole Miss beat Tulane by 35 points. 35 points.
So what do you do with a group of 5?
You create their own playoff.
We've discussed this. That's been an off-season topic, Tom. We've talked about it here. I see where you're going. I get it. And I got to think the powers that be have already talked about it. And with what happened yesterday, I think there's going to be more discussion. And there again, I think that's the push of what I've always called the big boy conference. I think Power 4 is going to go do their own thing and let the group of 5 do their own thing.
And trust me, everybody would watch. It would be awesome. You get a 12-team field of group of 5 teams. I'm telling you right now, it would be awesome. It would make a lot of money, and you'd please a lot more people.
I'd rather see that than some of these bowl matchups I've seen that we're gonna have coming up. I get it. I mean, it's a sensitive subject. I completely understand, but I think at the end of the day, those group of 5s are not going to be able to compete day in and day out with the Power 4. They're getting money, resources, 5-star athletes, things of that nature. It's just like they're running in quicksand.
So if a lot of people say, "Oh, well, you don't know that." When I say, if you put JMU or you put Tulane, let's just say you have them play in the Big 12 or the ACC or the SEC or the Big 10, wherever you want to place them, they're likely going to be, on a great year, an 8-4 team, on a great year with the current rosters that they have. Well, then we're not even talking about them for the college football playoff. And people say, "You don't know that." And I said, well, if you go back, and if your listeners want to do this, go back and look at Utah and TCU, their last 2 years at the group of 5 level. All right. One of them was 33-6. One of them was 36-3. The last 2 to 3 years, I think. Both of them were below 500 their first 2 years in the Pac-12 and the Big 12. Both of them were. So that, and I've had conversations with Kyle Whittingham about this. He goes, it took us 5 to 6 years to just put together a roster that could compete for that 12 to 13 week stretch. And even then, if we got the wrong guy dinged at the wrong spot, it was tough to recover from it. And so, and that Boise State team last year, I had them in the Fiesta Bowl versus Penn State, and Boise State was a really good football team. But standing there on the sideline watching it, I mean, you talk about eye test, John. That was varsity versus JV.
Well,
and that's it's not a knock on Boise State. It's the reality of the situation.
But you take away the opportunity for upward mobility for teams to build their program when you separate them out. I remember Florida State back when I was a kid growing up in Florida. They were having to build that program under Daryl Mudra and Larry Jones until
Bill Peterson.
Bill. Very nice get there, Tom. But I mean, it takes away those opportunities, because I guarantee you, if JMU or Tulane had the resources an SEC team did, then they would different. Be fine. But, if you're taking away just saying, by gosh, you don't belong, you'll never belong, why even try? I mean, that seems anti-American to me, to limit their upward mobility.
It totally is anti-American.
But how are they going to get those resources? I mean, haven't these teams been around long enough that they hadn't figured it out yet? How are they going to figure it out?
They're being limited by the teams they play and all of that as well.
Well, and think about it. I mean, they don't have the alumni bases. They don't have the financial infrastructure. They don't have the NIL. They don't have all of that stuff. And on top of it, many of them, in many ways, are relying upon scheduling a Power 4 team in their non-conference to not just fund football, but fund a lot of sports.
Yeah.
You know, and listen, guys, I'm doing the Oregon JMU game in Eugene on radio, for ESPN radio. Like, I'm really worried about what the outcome of that game is going to be.
And to your point on this, I will admit to this. When I saw JMU, obviously on Friday in the snow in Harrisonburg, they had a kid, a redshirt freshman defensive end named Sayer West, and he had like 4.5 tackles for loss against Troy, a couple of sacks, and we all said, boy, that kid is gone next year.
Right, exactly. The moment that happens, right? I mean, well, look at Colton Joseph at Old Dominion.
At Old Dominion, yeah.
It's the same thing, right? And then he gets tampered with, and what's he going to do? Say no? Yeah. And so it's this constant ugly cycle that happens with them that it's so tough for them to recover from.
Well, good stuff. Tom, we appreciate it.
Now, one quick thing, Luke. I know this is our last appearance with you during this football season. Man, we've greatly appreciated it. Had so much fun. Look forward to next year. We'll definitely see you next Tuesday here at the bowl game in Montgomery. Look forward to that. And look, just a little advice. Hit the green slopes before you go to the double black diamond. Get warmed up.
No. I don't roll that way.
Jump in, both feet.
No, I don't roll that way.
There we go.
Hey guys, have a great week. Merry Christmas. Look forward to seeing you next Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
very much, Tom. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Outstanding as always from Tom Luganbill. Brought to you by our friends at Riverbank and Trust, local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference, and they invite you to experience it for yourself. Riverbank and Trust, bringing you Tom Luganbill of ESPN exclusively all football season long. Thanks so much to our friends at Riverbank, and thanks so much to Tom Luganbill.
Still to come on the program, a little of the Phantom. Still to come, lots more commentary on what the postseason now looks like after conference championship weekend. The absolute, what is John Cod locks?
Yes,
to win this upcoming bowl season, and the reason why your team got absolutely shafted and why we need to blow up the entire thing. All that still to come.
Luke and I did not talk before today. Look, I've been a big boy conference proponent for years.
I disagree strongly with what he said about the group of five, strongly, and Luke knows better. I mean, he has done group of five games all year long. Jason Jones creating a G5 playoff is called the FCS. I'm done with Luganbill.
Well, my thing is,
how many different levels are you going to have? FBS, Division 1, 1AA, group of five, Division 2, Division 3. Why not just go ahead and have 32 teams
I just don't think
and call the NFL light?
All things are not created equal. And I just think we've got some conferences that just aren't as equal as some of the Power Fives. Now, look, we can split hairs and say there's some group of five teams that are better
than some of the Power
teams
Four
in the ACC. I get it, but they've got the luxury of being in that conference, and those conferences have built themselves up and put them in a position to where they are today. I think that's the future. I think we're going to have a big boy conference. It's all driven by money, which it shouldn't be. I mean, it's allegedly amateur athletics. But I think what happened yesterday is just going to push that a little bit further down the road.
Well, it's these conferences have built themselves into where they are today. It's because they had the opportunity. If you are putting a ceiling on these group of fives and saying, look, you guys just play amongst yourselves.
I don't have any problem at all giving group of five the opportunity. Just don't make it off the backs of the Power Four. Go do it yourself. But you've got to have the Power Four to do it.
There are some Power Four teams that are doing it off the backs of other Power Four teams right now. The difference is they don't have a ceiling. Group of five teams, this is where you belong. I don't care if you're Florida State in 1951 or whomever.
Well, I think football's changed a lot from 1951 to 2025.
And it sure, to me, it's changed a lot in the last 5 years. And so much of it is the way John wants it.
Yeah.
Let's just make it as much like the NFL as we can and forget about, the welfare of the student athletes or the growth of the game.
I mean, are we not already there? I mean, these kids going to school, they're transferring whenever they want to. They're getting paid millions of dollars. I don't want to play. Not going to play. Want to opt out? I'm going to opt out.
Enough.
I can't say I like it, but I think that's certainly the mess we've gotten ourselves into. And if the Power Four wants to, make it all on their own, they've got the ability to do that. Are they going to be guilty if we go, well, we can't leave the group of five back? I feel bad about that. I just don't think they can think of it that way.
Jason Jones says, you can't talk about putting G5 and P4 conferences and assume they will not be successful. The number one separating factor is cash. If they're in the P4, then they have the same resources. That's the difference. Tom even said, I admit it absolutely is un-American. It is elitist. You can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps because you're limited. And in America, if you limit anyone's upward mobility, that is.
Would it be all bad if the Power Four had their own playoff structure and their own little conference, if you will? I don't know, because I'm looking at some of these bowl games and these teams, I'm going, you got to be kidding me. I mean, really? This is a bowl matchup? I mean, I think it would be a lot more interesting and there'd be a lot more eyeballs if it was a playoff format, because playing in the whatever bowl you want to call it, nobody cares about that. And then it's certainly not helping some of these days and times that they're making some of these Power Four teams play. I'm thinking, you got to be kidding me.
I just think John would have been a little more well-rounded if he had grown up and his dad had been a professor at Sam Houston State, or his mom had been an alum of Slippery Rock or something, instead of all of this elitist stuff that, heck with them. I'm not one of them. I don't care to empathize with them. They're on their own.
Barry, if that would have been the way I grew up, then you would have missed 30 of the most exciting years of your life being partnered with me.
A little bit of Pepto-Bismol, too, I'm telling you. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Prattville Carpet is the most trusted name in flooring in the River region. Ray Bowles and his staff have an extensive line of Mohawk stain-resistant carpeting in all the latest styles and colors. Prattville Carpet also has hardwood, vinyl, and ceramic tile for all of your flooring needs. Professionally installed at the absolute lowest prices. Take advantage of cash and carry vinyl plank at just $239 a foot. Call them today to set up your free measurement for your home, office, lake house, hunting camp, or wherever you need flooring. 285-8117. That's 285-8117, or drop by 2201 Cobbs Ford Road in Prattville for Prattville Carpet. Local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. River Bank and Trust.
You can be a winner too with Victoryland Casino's 8 days of giveaways. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. We're giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. That's right, Victoryland Casino is giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. Come play the latest and greatest games featuring exciting bonuses and huge jackpots. There's always more ways to win at Victoryland Casino. Off I-85, exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. About 3 or 4 minutes past the top of the hour on this Monday. Obviously talking about college conference championship games, college football playoff, bowl games that have been announced. That seems to be taking up all of the oxygen. I know there's been some basketball. I know there's been some NFL. But we're talking about a lot of this good stuff. A couple of things that I noticed, Barry, before Alabama shellacking in Atlanta on Saturday afternoon. Who is Kalen DeBoer's Taylor? That suit he had on game day. I mean, wow.
What?
I mean, Desmond Howard was jealous. He goes, man, coach, where'd you get that suit? It looked like something you'd see in Goodfellas. I'm thinking, what's with the pinstripes, coach?
I didn't see it, you know.
It was a little, I was not expecting to see Kalen DeBoer in that type of suit. It was somewhat interesting. Also,
all right, hang on. I'm going to Google a little bit while we're here because I got no idea.
And then Nick Saban and Kirby Smart get into a discussion littered with BS in just about every other sentence. Saban started.
They're actually saying it? They're actually using the S word?
Yes. Saban dropped it about 3 or 4 times. Kirby's kind of grinning and laughing. I thought his comeback was awesome. Something about putting in second string quarterbacks, and that got Saban giggling as well. Even Kirby dropped a BS or two. It's DeBoer's kind of sitting there going, well, what are these guys talking about?
Come on.
He was kind of lost in the conversation. But as the day started out, I kind of went, wow, man, here's a little excitement and energy before the kickoff of the game. I guess it was a weather issue because they were broadcasting inside, like where the SEC Fan Fest was situated.
Well, it was like everywhere else I think I saw in the Southeast, and I was all over the Southeast over that 2-3 day period.
Yeah.
It had to have been a weather issue, huh? See, we're lowering standards, man. Mm-hmm. You know, you don't need to have the S-bomb or the BS bomb out there because everybody will get used to it a little bit more and all that. Heck, you know, I'm guilty of it. We had a couple of my friends, whenever we had the guy on the Gurn Junior Victoryland 777 topic wheel giving the double birds at the Alabama basketball, whatever, and it says, hey, man, family show. And I'm thinking, you know, I didn't even think twice about that.
Yeah.
You know, that guy shooting 2 birds and everything. I wouldn't have done that, you know, 15 years ago. We all get a little bit desensitized to it all, and pretty much you're going to hear it all the time, and I'm against that stuff. Come on now.
Well, you know, it is a different day and age.
It is.
It is.
Day and age. I get
the good old days.
Well, so here we are again, full of questions, very few answers. The bowl games, they actually get started. The first bowl games, the Cricket Celebration Bowl is actually this Saturday at Mercedes-Benz. It's South Carolina State versus Prairie View. Also on Saturday, the very first game is the very first, FBS game is the LA Bowl hosted by Gronk. Boise State versus Washington. That's on Saturday. Then, of course, a week from tomorrow, the second bowl game is the Salute to Veterans Bowl here in Montgomery. Troy versus Jacksonville State, 8 o'clock on ESPN, 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night. Look, I'm happy for the bowl bid. I thought Troy would have gotten a bowl with a bigger payout, but you'll never hear me complain about playing at Crampton Bowl in Montgomery as a bowl.
You know, there's a perfect example. And I don't want to I don't want to beat up on the people that put the bowl game on. But Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, you know why they're doing that? Because ESPN says so. We don't care that the Troy fans are inconvenienced or the Jacksonville State fans are inconvenienced. If you don't like it, don't come. So what? We're not worried about you. We're worried about us and how much money we're going to make. And this is all part of our big bowl package. We have nothing else to put on at 8 o'clock on Tuesday. So you're playing then. And if you don't like it, opt out.
So, I like it fine. I do. I do wonder what's going on earlier on that Tuesday on ESPN. But, John talks about, the game of college football has changed a lot. And it has, and it's benefited the student athletes more, which I'm always in favor of, instead of, have starving to death in the off season because you don't have any money. I mean, now they're several of them making hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars. But back in the day, was it better? I'm asking because I remember my youth with rose-colored glasses. I remember all the good times.
Yeah.
And everything like that. You hunkered down on New Year's or, a couple of days before New Year's because you had the Gator Bowl and you had the Liberty Bowl. Other than that, you had the Cotton Bowl, you had the Rose Bowl, you had the Sugar Bowl, you had the Orange Bowl, and a little bit later, Peach Bowl. Okay. Then a little bit later on, the Astro Blue Bonnet Bowl, fine, and everything. John, now we have got the L.A. Bowl hosted by Gronk.
Well,
Xbox Bowl. Look, I don't, and that's a Sun Belt game, and I'm not. I love the bowl experience.
wait a minute, the Sun Belt's playing out in L.A.? Wow, I didn't see that.
No. The Sun Belt is playing in the Xbox game.
Oh, well, okay. All right.
Yeah, the Xbox game. It's been my experience, and I hate to generalize people, but the people who are in the market to buy Xboxes, a lot of them aren't interested in football, if you know what I mean.
So let me get this straight. I see Boise's playing Washington in the bucked up LA Bowl. Is that
hosted by Gronk?
Hosted by what is bucked up?
Some people say that bowl system is.
I mean, I'm looking on
really
the ESPN site. They've got it labeled as the bucked up LA Bowl.
Is this progress?
No.
Is this progress when you go from the Liberty Bowl to the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl presented by Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop?
Are you telling
That's
me
the name of it.
Are you telling me that the current Auburn head football coach, his former team, is played in the Staph DNA Cure Bowl?
Yes.
Is that like a staph infection? What is that? What is the Staph DNA Cure Bowl?
It's in the company or something. This is the one that kills me out in Tucson, Arizona. The Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl presented by Gin and Juice by Dre and that is a bowl game. That is a bowl game. Is it played on grass?
Ooh, it's a good one. Kennesaw State and Western Michigan. I ain't watching that.
Well, I don't mind the teams. I really don't. I'm not, because I've seen a lot of these teams and everything. But I do agree with John in this, and I don't like it, but I do. I do believe that our bowl system is going to undergo radical changes. I mean, they are fighting. They were pleading with people to fill out the Birmingham Bowl, pleading with people. Auburn turned them down. Baylor turned them down. Kansas State at 5. These are 5 and 7 teams who would rather not. I get it. Their players have already gone home. This season for them has been done for a week and a half, 2 weeks. The players are either taking finals or they finished finals and are gone home. You can't go, hey, come back here, quick. You can't do that. But I mean, it's not on life support.
Yeah.
But they are in ICU right now. I can tell you.
Yeah. I'm with you. But Barry, you talked about the good old days. I remember the good old days. And there were like 12 bowl games. And it meant something to go to a bowl game. It was a big deal. I think the bowl system's diluted. I think there are too many bowl games. And there again, ESPN's got to have programming. They control 95% of the bowl games. They're going to put them on whenever they want to. They're going to put them in whatever city they want to. I get it. But to me, it's not a reward. I mean, a 5 and 7 team can go to a bowl, a 6 and 6 team. It used to be a reward. It was a big deal. I don't think it's a big deal anymore. And particularly the space. I mean, Mississippi State's playing on January the 2nd. Their last game was the Friday after Thanksgiving. They're going over a month before they play a game that has no meaning whatsoever on their season. Hey, we won a bowl game. Did you? Really? Wow. Okay. Good for you. I just think it's diluted. You got to make it special.
Well, again,
just play them all this weekend. Why are we waiting?
Because they can't fit them all in on ESPN in a weekend. And you can't go back to back. You ain't playing a bowl game at 4:15 in the morning. That's just.
Now I'm a little confused here. What does a college football playoff special have to do with a real football game?
Well, yeah. Jason brings this up. I asked him, I said, why, I'm not complaining. I am pleased and thankful and honored to be associated with the Salute to Veterans Bowl in Montgomery on Tuesday. I understand that. But it's at 8:00 on a Tuesday night. And I was just idly wondering, why is it at 8:00 on a Tuesday night? Jason Jones says from 6 to 8 on Tuesday, ESPN is having a college football special that could be literally any time of the week. Idiots.
Oh, not tomorrow, but next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they roll that into.
So they're going to have a college football playoff special leading up to the Troy Jacksonville State game.
Yeah, evidently.
Now, the only thing I can think of, Barry, is they want that West Coast market to be able to have ample time to watch Troy and Jacksonville State because it's a 6:00 kick on the West Coast. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. And again, not complaining, but I was just idly wondering. I am looking forward to that.
I will say this, Barry. I am looking forward to Thursday night's SEC football schedule reveal on SEC Network. I already know what we're talking about on Friday. Woo! Cannot wait.
Theoda says, is it Jason Jones that always quotes Coach Bohannon?
Coach Bohannon.
Coach Bohannon.
Who's coach?
I don't know.
The old baseball coach at Alabama.
Oh.
That's the only Coach Bohannon I know of.
That's not him. No, I don't know.
Hey,
anyway.
Theodis, I see you working there. Where I saw one from Tobias earlier today. Yeah. Tobias, I hear you working about the Rose Bowl. I'm with you. But there again, that's another example of a big boy, the granddaddy. Oh, you can't touch the Rose Bowl. Now,
you can blow up everything else, and the entire world of college football, as John says, is totally changed. But, no.
I don't get the Rose Bowl either. I don't know why they've got such a tight grip on the world of college football. The only thing I can tell you is it makes a lot of money. I mean, the only thing I can think of that they have so much control of when they're going to play, what time they're going to play, and all that type of stuff.
And that's also the reason, Tobias, why the college football playoff games are not going to be on campus. Because let me take for an example one of the games this weekend. Mm-hmm. If you extend it out, the Autzen Stadium, which is about 60,000, is not going to make as much money for the NCAA as if they played at Mercedes-Benz, Superdome, any of those kinds of things. And it's all about the money. I'm actually faintly surprised that they allowed the first round games to be played on campus because logistically it's absolutely difficult.
Let's throw this out there. In talking about the P4 and the group of 5, do we see a day when as you just said, Barry, we ain't playing on campus. We're getting big metro areas to bid on it, and we're going to make some money. We're not going to Eugene, and we're not going to Bloomington, and we're not going to Oxford, and we're not going to We're going to major metropolitan markets. They're going to bid on it. And I know it's all the warm and fuzzy. Oh, on campus is great, and the alums can come back and a playoff atmosphere on campus. I'm with you. I think it sounds great. I love
it. Yeah. In theory, both me and John are big fans of that. In theory, but as John says, and is prone to saying, in the real world, yeah, they're not.
I'm with you. I wish there were more on-campus games. Yeah. I do think it's cool.
It is cool. There's no question. Love on-campus venues.
Is it are they leaving money on the table?
Which is all that it seems. Like, for instance, if Alabama had beaten Georgia, they didn't know they were going to beat Georgia, and they didn't come close to doing it. But if they did, if they beat Georgia on Saturday, boom, all of a sudden, hey, they're an 8 seed. They got to host a game. Now, they'll have, 10 days in which to do it. But still, you got to get the stadium ready. You've got to get the tickets ready. And I get most of them, or probably all of them, are electronic right now. You got to get a whole lot of stuff ready in 10 days for one game. Your fans are going to be calling, hey, where do I get tickets? Hey, where do I get tickets? Well, you can get them through us, but there's not going to be that many. You got to get them through this. And it's a logistical nightmare. So.
But but they got 2 weeks. I mean, Ole Miss has got 2 weeks to get ready to host Tulane and A&M and all that. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think they're going to be busting it, but I think they can certainly get it done.
Yeah.
But Barry, if JMU and their game and the Tulane Ole Miss game, if those numbers are bad, the television networks are going to be going to whoa here. And that was really the thing that surprised me about Notre Dame. The eyeballs will be watching Notre Dame no matter who they're playing, no matter what the record is.
All right.
That kind of surprised me. But if the JMUs and the Tulanes and their number, they're going to be going, wait a minute. This ain't what we're paying $1 billion for it, because it's a feel-good story. We're not in the feel-good story business. We're in the business of business, and we need to make some money.
It's also, they educate young people at colleges and universities and teach classes and award degrees and all that. Let's not forget that. But since you bring that up, I know we're late for a break, but you bring that up. Which do you think is more likely, therefore, that you just get rid of access to group of 5 teams in the college football playoff, either, as Tom says, have their own playoff, or just limit the access to group of 5 teams and say, no, you have your fun, but you're not going to play in this? Or do you enlarge the playoff?
Barry, I think the playoff will be enlarged. I think it's going to 16 quickly. 24, I'm not. I haven't seen a proposal with 24 that grabs me. The 16 I can handle. But to me, with the group of 5, it's all about engagement and the season meaning something all season long. And if you're at the midway point, we're kind of out of it. If the group of 5 has their playoff and you got 16 teams in the group of 5 fighting it out for a playoff at the same time the Power Four is going on, to me, that's a win-win. You got the group of 5. They're knocking each other out. There's a lot of talk about it, obviously amongst them, and I think they're getting a lot more recognition doing it that way than they are playing in the Gronk LA Bowl or whatever they're doing that nobody even pays attention to. This way, the group of 5's getting recognition, and people are paying some attention to it, at least more than they're doing with some of these bowl matchups.
But the only flaw there, number one, I have a feeling that they would always be group of 5. There is I don't care if you go 13-0 every year for 10 years in a row and are demonstrably better than several of the Power Fours, you're still going to always be group of 5. And number 2, while that group of 5 playoff is going on, you've also got the FCS playoff going on. You've also got the Division II playoff going
they
on.
can knock
And
themselves
everybody who doesn't follow football as closely as you and I do, they won't know the difference.
Do you think do you think JMU and Tulane are, demonstrably better? I'll be interested to see what the point spreads are for Tulane and JMU in their 2 matchups.
Oh, they're not. I've seen. I think
if
JMU
they get beat badly, that's what people are going to say. Whether it's fair or not, well, they shouldn't have been in. Look what happened. Same thing with Alabama. I can promise you, the world is going to be against Alabama, hoping Oklahoma beats the hell out of them. So everybody go, told you, shouldn't have been in the playoff. Didn't deserve it.
Yeah, that's what they said last year about SMU, who was in a Power 4 conference. about being in there because SMU is just, SMU. Got to take a break. Coming back, the Phantom. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market at 3750 Norman Bridge Road in Montgomery has the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of America. I'm talking red snapper and grouper, all sizes of Gulf shrimp, jumbo lump crab meat and crab claws, Louisiana Bay oysters, and New Bedford scallops. They are a full-service seafood market and kitchen serving po' boys, dinners, and sandwiches. Many well-known restaurants in the river region purchase their seafood from the Destin Connection because they know it's the absolute best. Call ahead and your order will be ready for pickup. The Destin Connection Seafood Market, 3750 Norman Bridge Road. Call 288-4272. That's 288-4272.
Hey, bro, weirdest thing is happening at the game. This guy sitting next to me says, "You're our good luck charm." Every time I crack a Bud Light, we score a touchdown. Now his entire family wants to buy me Bud Lights. I think I'm some kind of a football prophet. Talk soon. The team needs me.
Anything for Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Stock up today. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025 Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
At Dixie Overhead Door, we specialize in top-quality garage door solutions for homes across Alabama and Georgia. In need of a garage door repair or a brand new garage door installation, our expert team delivers fast, reliable service with local expertise that you can trust, providing customized solutions and exceptional care every step of the way. Visit us today at DixieOverheadDoor.com and experience the Dixie difference.
Okay, back at it about 25 minutes past the hour on this Monday. Hope you're doing well today. Appreciate you joining us, whether it's live or at your convenience. You can watch us and listen anytime on, of course, at yellowhammernews.com, on Facebook, on YouTube, Instagram, X, Spotify, Apple Tunes, you name it. We're there. We greatly appreciate it. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we will certainly appreciate that. Promise you that. All right.
A little bit of a low blow from Tobias. Marcus Freeman sprayed on hairline, wasn't going to make it in Orlando anyway. Sprayed on hairline. Come on.
Hey, I take
they still do that stuff. I mean, did you used to see back in the 80s? They used to have that spray can thing you can spray in.
It was Ronco.
Gotta be kidding.
Remember that company Ronco? They came up with all those crazy products. They had the spray on hair,
the slap chop, and all that.
Man, I missed the slap chop. Man, slap your troubles away. Okay, you brought it up, so I guess we got to look into the Phantom's Daily Dog and the Phantom 4 over the weekend.
Here we go. All right.
I think on Friday, Barry, this was the American Athletic Conference Championship game, I believe.
You've got to say it a little bit more confidently than that. We're talking about the Phantom here. I believe this was the American.
I think so.
Yeah.
I did like Tulane's uniform combination on Friday night. I do like the powder blue. That was a good look.
Yeah, but they're the green wave.
Well, they still mix a little green in there. Man, Barry, if you're down in the Caribbean, the water looks that color, so maybe they're going that look. Who knows?
Yeah, North Texas versus Tulane in the American Athletic Conference Championship. At Tulane clinches a college football playoff spot under John Sumrall. 34-21 over the North Texas Mean Green.
I mean, we were catching 3 in that game. We were a 3-point home underdog on Tom Benson Field. Jim Wilson Jr. press box. I don't know if you noticed that. Mr. Wilson from here in Montgomery, the late great Jim Wilson.
Not.
Yes.
I know who he is, but I did not know that.
He played at Tulane. Mr. Wilson played at Tulane and gave that athletic department a ton of money. I think their football-only complex, Barry, might be named after him as well. He donated a lot of money to that, and the press box is in his name. He played at Tulane. 34-21.
34-21. Tulane wins it. Really wasn't that close. I mean, a couple of late scores by North Texas made it representative, I guess.
That's right. Yeah. Barry, if you're keeping score at home, The Daily Dog went 4 out of 5 last week.
Yes. It's so funny. I once got called out for using that phrase. During a baseball game, I was noting a change on the official score. And I said, if you're scoring at home, and a guy texted me, said, if I was scoring at home, I wouldn't be listening to you right now.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I got to remember that. Let me write that one down. That's good. The Daily Dog did well last week. So let's jump 4 out of 5 on the Daily Dog. So tonight, Barry, very, very small NBA card tonight. Only 3 games in the association.
Mm-hmm.
No college games, obviously. No bowl game today. Allegedly, this is exam week. So these athletes are having to prep for exams this week, I guess.
Which John's sounding all snooty about that before. When John was a student, he used to use it. Allegedly, it's exam week.
Yeah.
Where's everybody?
No kidding. Man, Dead Week was horrible. I hated it. Had nobody to play with. It was terrible.
Yeah.
All right. Tonight, Barry, we're going to the NFL, the National Football League, where the Philadelphia Eagles are going out to the West Coast, playing in SoFi tonight against the LA Chargers. Home team's the Dog. Wait a minute. Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers a 2.5-point underdog against Philly. Okay, it's true. Philadelphia has been struggling a little bit of late.
They really have.
That doesn't mean, they're due to win. Oh, really? Okay, then go that route, because I say they're not. Now, they might win the game, but I'm catching 2.5 at home. I'll take it. I'm taking the Lightning Bolts plus the 2.5 on Monday Night Football tonight. That is your Phantom's Daily Dog.
Philly is coming off, so far, 2 straight losses.
Yeah.
For the defending Super Bowl champion.
That's correct.
No manner of momentum heading into LA tonight. All right, there you go.
So the Phantom 4. Went a little something like this. It's not whether I know to a lot of people, it's whether you win or lose. In the Phantom's world, it's if you cover the spread.
Sure. Yeah. Bottom line.
Yeah. And I've got to, even though it was a losing effort by the home team, so to speak, even though they were playing on the road, they were able to cover the 23.5, and we greatly appreciate that. The Trojans, we told you.
Oh, yeah.
Points in this game. We compared like the Old Dominion spread against this one. And when James Madison played, it was time. I said, whoa, what's going on here?
JMU won it in like 28-degree weather and snow. It was a 3-point game with about 6 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Then they scored a touchdown. Then they got a scoop and score. They end up winning it 31-14, which is 17 points.
Yeah, perfect. It's good. Now, it would have been nice if Troy won, no doubt. But
I would have been happy with that, yes.
They covered the spread. So that's what we're looking for here.
No.
Unfortunately,
and Chris the Bammer, don't be congratulations, Troy. Congratulations, Troy. Really? We lost the game. Hey, congrats for that cover, Troy. That ain't congratulations, Troy. That's congratulations, Phantom, and all you guys. That ain't got nothing to do with, hey, Troy, good for you.
That kind of reminds me many years ago when I was a little Phantom, and I went, Dad, I'm a little bummed. We lost the game. Son, let me tell you something. We might have lost the game, but we cashed the ticket. And that is when little Phantom,
when he
spark went into my eye, a little gleam, and I went, this is
when he walked out the front door that afternoon, the sun shone a little brighter. The bird song sounded a little sweeter.
Yeah.
And the world somehow looked different.
That it did. I mean,
yes.
I don't want to go. I really don't want to go as far as hate it for you, Troy, but you covered the spread. But
so congratulations. Congratulations.
But Barry, the next 3 weren't good. Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go down. Here we go.
Yep. Next 3 weren't good.
Number 2.
Look, I know all the data points indicated that Bama was on a downward trend and Georgia was on an upward trend. But the one data point of Alabama winning, 10 of the last 11, which quite honestly doesn't really mean much. And it certainly didn't. It certainly didn't Saturday afternoon. Bama plus 2.5 in this game. Barry, this game went off Bama plus 1.5. So right before kickoff, this line drops a point from when we released it on Friday to win kickoff on Saturday afternoon. Did not matter one bit because Georgia dominated the game.
21-0 at one point.
Yeah, the +2 was never in doubt or never in play, I should say.
No.
So Virginia and Ohio State were our next two picks. And I got to tell you, there again, close doesn't count in this game. But you've heard the expression pooped in the bed.
As a matter of fact, Chris the Bammer just used that one. Except he didn't say the bed. He just said on themselves, which is gross.
Yeah. Virginia had every opportunity to get put Duke away. I mean, that overtime business, come on.
They scored a late touchdown on like a 90-something yard drive. I watched that game after they finished with the Ohio State-Indiana game. More on that later.
Yeah.
And Virginia had they had a 96-yard drive. They score a touchdown on a beautiful little pass catch with like 22 seconds to go to force overtime. They had already played in 3 overtime games and won them all, had all the momentum. And then you get to overtime. Duke drives it right down the field and scores no problem.
Yeah.
And then
great defense, Virginia.
And when Duke scores the touchdown, Virginia gets called for roughing the passer, so Virginia's got to start their drive at the 40-yard line. First play, flea flicker, interception, game over.
Don't be getting crazy.
James Madison exults.
Yeah, don't be getting crazy. Speaking of that, trick plays, is it true that Jeremy Bernard had the longest completed pass in the game against Georgia Saturday afternoon?
All right.
Even though it was kind of a backyard play, I'd never seen anything like that. I thought it was pretty cool. But I think that might have been the longest pass completed by Alabama on the day, which was a double pass. They threw it to Jeremy Bernard on the right side of the field, who threw it all the way across the field to, I guess, Daniel Hill, who was like 3 yards behind him. And then he went down the field for I'm talking about the length of the pass, not how long the play went. It was just seemed to be a long pass completion there.
Right.
So Jeremy Bernard's had one game where he was the leading rusher, and I believe he had the longest pass completed in the game on Saturday. But not to get away from what we were talking about, Ohio State. What is it about Ohio State and big games? I don't know. Michigan last year, Indiana this year. Not taking anything away from Indiana because I was very impressed. But Ohio State had plenty of opportunity to cover this game. I mean, come on.
What was the spread?
4.
Indiana wins it 13-10. Couple of things. Number one, Julian Sayin on a quarterback keeper on 4th down inside the 3. Number one, why are you going for it? Why not kick the field goal and tie? Number 2, Sayin, he had the first down, but he got forward momentum by going to a knee and pushing forward. Son, when the knee's on the ground, play is over. And number 2, that poor place kicker for Ohio State. 27-yard field goal. Was it 27 or 22? 27-yard field goal. Pulls it wide left, biggest day. That would have tied it. And Indiana gets a first down. They need it on a great pass, like Tom said. Drops it in the bucket. Mendoza to Charlie Becker, and they salted away. They had to punt, but Ohio State had a last little deal. But Indiana wins it 13-10 and gains a lot of respect from the nation, but it does hurt the Phantom in the pocket.
So, Bear, we're back to 500. This was not a good week, so it puts us squarely at 500 on the year, 29-29-2. So now we get into what the Phantom really likes: bowl season, playoff season, getting toward the NFL regular season ending, and we get into postseason. So we're not hitting the panic button just yet. Yet.
So
we're okay with that.
There we go. Again, the Phantom's daily dog. Eagles and Chargers.
We're taking the Chargers plus 2.5 tonight. Taking the Lightning Bolts. Yes, sir.
Stand by. More in a moment. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Marguerite. local banking expertise, the newest innovations and technology, personal attention, genuine hospitality. It's all just part of the Riverbank and Trust difference. They invite you to experience it for yourself. Welcome to banking above and beyond at Riverbank and Trust. Locations throughout the River region, locations throughout the state of Alabama. Riverbank and Trust.
Welcome to the holidays. They're officially here. Time for tradition, family gatherings, meals, and the annual scramble of searching for those last-minute gifts. Speaking of gifts, this season Budweiser's got your back. Head to the store right now and look for our specials. Why go all over town looking for that perfect gift when Budweiser takes care of everyone in one convenient ice-cold package? When you stock up on Budweiser with our specials, you'll have plenty to share with your friends and family. They'll all appreciate that Budweiser's brewed the hard way and has been for 140 years. We use the finest barley, malt, and hops grown in Idaho and Germany. We don't take any shortcuts when we're brewing. That's our tradition. So make the most of your holidays. Stop by your local store now for our specials. Grab enough Budweiser for yourself, your friends, and your family. It's a new holiday tradition everyone can enjoy together. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Budweiser Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Stivers Ford of Montgomery has Bronco Sports for $8,000 off, Broncos for $10,000 off, or take advantage of the sign and drive lease offer with $399 for 36 or 48 months and 0 down payment.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Stivers Ford of Montgomery has F-150 $16,000 off or 0% for 66 months. Even Lightnings $16,000 off or 0% for 75 months, and Super Duties $12,000 off.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Okay, welcome back in. About 20 minutes to the top of the hour. We're going to get to Gurn Jr. 777 topic wheel from Victoryland here in just a moment or two. I got to tell you, Barry, as I was sitting back and reflecting on the college football playoff bracket yesterday, and I will admit I learned my lesson, I guess, last year when there was some talk about Alabama making the playoff or something like that, which they didn't. And I remember easing out of the church service a little early just to see, if I could get the scoop on the bracket. And I told myself as I was heading to church yesterday, don't waste your time because they don't really announce the teams till about 45 minutes into it. So I said, I'm not going to miss anything here, which I didn't. But I did look over at Junior yesterday and noticed that, well, he had his phone out. I went, whoa, what's going on here? And, of course, that caught my attention. It was about we were wrapping up. So it's not like, we were in the middle of, the sermon or anything. And found out that Alabama had made the playoff, that Notre Dame had not, which certainly interested me. And I thought, wow, that's kind of an interesting turn. But as I looked ahead and I thought, well, if Alabama does happen to beat Oklahoma in Norman in a little less than 2 weeks, where will they go next?
They will go to face Indiana.
In the Rose Bowl.
Yes.
The Rose Bowl. The granddaddy of them all.
Who was somebody? One of our chatters said that it needs to be imploded. It's a wreck. The Rose Bowl is all that. Are you kidding me? A wreck? I love the Rose Bowl.
Well, if you're sitting in the press box, it is extremely nice. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Now, the seating areas are okay. They're okay.
Yeah.
Now, the concessions and the restrooms are not very convenient. And we've talked about it before. It's interesting how you get into the Rose Bowl, the gates, if you will, all of the rest. You go through the gate, hand them your ticket, scan your ticket, and there are the restrooms and the concessions are right there.
Right.
And then you go through these long portals, and then it opens up into the Rose Bowl. So you actually walk out of the stadium to go to the concession stand, to go to the restrooms, wherever. You don't leave the stadium ground, so to speak, but as the concessions and the bathrooms are underneath the stands at Jordan-Hare, Troy, or Bryant Denny, they're outside of the stadium, so to speak. I find that a little
off-putting,
inconvenient.
Yeah, if you have, especially if you're like 80 years old, and when you got to go now. That's a little bit different out there. Did you know that, again, Notre Dame is ticked. Notre Dame Athletic Director Pete Bevacqua told Yahoo Sports, quote, "There is no explanation that could possibly be given to explain the outcome. Any rankings or show prior to this last one is an absolute joke and a waste of time." This is his perspective. Every one of those worthless, meaningless college football playoff ranking shows, which means zero, every one of them, every mock-up, every projection had Notre Dame in until they weren't in at the very end. Total waste of time.
And I think the committee kind of sets themselves up to get criticized. Now, again, I can't imagine that these playoff shows make a ton of money. Maybe they do.
I don't know.
Maybe they need some programming. But I think you should have one show, one reveal.
Yeah.
I don't really know why we have to have all this discussion
It's a bunch of
5 weeks before the one that means anything is done.
Well, the other question it begs, two things. Next year, this wouldn't happen because Notre Dame, how do they do this? According to a memorandum of understanding signed between the college football playoff officials and Notre Dame. They have a separate, it's not a contract, it is a memo of understanding that'll get into place next year.
You know, Barry, I think when I was trying to get in college the first time, I was under a memo of understanding. Look, you better do this or you're not going to do this.
Yes. According to a memorandum of understanding that kicks in next year, Notre Dame will be assured of making the playoff if it is ranked in the top 12.
So
if that was in play this year, then the final at-large team, which this year is Miami, would have been hate it for you, Miami. Notre Dame's got a letter. Here we go.
So who's giving Notre Dame?
Take a look, everybody. See, I got
it. Who's giving Notre Dame all of these privileges?
Exactly.
I mean, why are they doing that?
Now, one quick thing here, and I want your opinion on this. So get your thinking cap on. Famously now, Notre Dame was left out of the field in favor of Miami, who had been ranked behind Notre Dame in every one of those college football ranking shows prior to Sunday. Neither one of them played on Saturday, but it was always Notre Dame, Miami, Notre Dame, Miami, Notre Dame, Miami. Neither one of them played. Then at the very end, it's Miami, Notre Dame. So Notre Dame was ticked. Notre Dame says it won't play in a bowl game. John, do you think that's a precedent? Because it appears like it's a sign of the time that for the top programs in the country, it's playoff or bust.
It is. There's no doubt, Barry. We talked about that. We talked about that with Alabama. If Kalen DeBoer misses the playoff, that fan base, he's going to have hell to pay.
And
beats Auburn, gets into the conference championship game. And I'm thinking Saturday night, if they don't make the playoffs.
And they're going back to the Outback or something? Ain't nobody going.
So, yeah, I mean, for some programs, it is playoff. Or you think Texas is thrilled about playing Michigan in the Viero Bowl or wherever the heck they're playing?
The difference is Notre Dame's not in a conference. They can do what they want. I'm sure Greg Sankey would look at Texas and go, Longhorns, see right here, you signed right there on this deal. You're going to play in this bowl game. But the fan base ain't going to care diddly squat. They ain't going to sell any tickets.
So do we expand it to 16 to give more teams it's playoff or bust? Because, Barry, I agree with you. I think there's some programs out there that if we don't make the playoff, we aren't going. I'm kind of surprised Texas is going to a bowl game. What do they need to go to a bowl game for?
Contractual obligations to the Southeastern Conference. But Notre Dame says, heck with it. We ain't going. I don't care what you say. You can't make us.
I hate that the bowls. I really don't. I think the bowl games are diluted.
Coming up,
I'm a playoff guy.
Coming up, it's our Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. Next, with Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.
Stivers Ford of Montgomery has F-150s and Lightnings, each 16 grand off, with 2.9% on F-150 or 0% on Lightning. And Super Duties, 12 grand off or 0%.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
Stivers Ford of Montgomery has Broncos and Explorers, each $10,000 off, with 2.9% on Explorer. Plus, Mach-E's at 11 grand off or 0% for 75 months.
Stivers Ford, where price sells Fords.
You can be a winner too with Victoryland Casino's 8 days of giveaways. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. We're giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. That's right, Victoryland Casino is giving away $125,000 in free play and cash. Come play the latest and greatest games featuring exciting bonuses and huge jackpots. There's always more ways to win at Victoryland Casino. Off I-85, exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Back at it, Gurn Jr., Victoryland 777 topic. Well, Barry, they had a big giveaway Friday out over the last weekend on the at Victoryland, but hey, you still have an opportunity. They're giving away cash all month long. The more you visit Victoryland, the better your chances of winning.
Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too. Here's the deal. 6 topics, no idea what they are, but Gurn Jr. does. He's the one that puts this all together. Here we go. Picking 6.
Picking.
Oh, could this be the Bills-Bengals game? Could be. Oh, yeah, here it is. Christian Benford.
Watch out, number 1.
Little loft there would have been good on that one. Over. And this was again with the Bengals having the lead. Benford picked 6s. First interception all year for Burrow. He ends up throwing one on the next pass, too, on a deflection.
Yeah, it looks like that ball might have slipped out of his hand. That looked like a girl throwing the ball.
You're right.
Nothing against girls throwing the ball, but it did kind of look like that.
Yeah, it was not a clean pass. You're right.
Barry, what's with the, look, I know it takes a lot more effort to get the snow off the field completely, but you're just going to get it off the lines and the hash marks?
It's still going to fall. I mean, it's going to, you get it off the whole place, and, by the time it gets started, it's just.
Speaking of snow, one of the first things I thought about Alabama at Oklahoma in a little less than 2 weeks, the weather can get a little dicey in Norman this time of year.
The windy and cold and sleety and
Could
stuff.
be. Just saying.
Just for those of you who have a special interest in that game, check the weather.
You're right.
Yes.
Check the weather.
All right.
That could be a topic on the wheel. Check the weather. Okay. Let's see what we got here.
It was certainly bad in Buffalo yesterday.
I was thinking about you Friday night.
It was so cold.
Yeah.
Bad calls.
Bad calls.
We used to have a lot of them on our radio show. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Did the referees really, really want the Steelers to win this game?
Are you saying something funny happened in an NFL game?
There's a touchdown.
Yeah.
Touchdown.
Puts in.
Touchdown. Still got the touchdown. Hanging on to the ball. Touchdown. And then all of a sudden, they look at it again. This is Isaiah Likely.
Okay, got it.
Carolina.
Yep.
Got it. 1 step, 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps. And guess what?
Did they say you got to bring the ball to your body?
They overturned it in the 4th quarter. And the Steelers win it 27-22 over the Ravens. That was one of several calls. I admit, Lamar Jackson was terrible at the very end.
Yep.
I mean, he took 3 steps and would have given the Ravens a lead with 2.5 minutes to go.
So, Barry, I'm wondering what the point spread was in that game, because that's how I'm looking at it. I hate the Ravens got beat, but did somebody get kind of jobbed in the point spread there?
This is a call out to Robbie. Robbie, if you're not responding to this, I worry about your health right now. By the way, just in case you're wondering, Pittsburgh was a 5.5-point dog, and they win by 5 in Baltimore.
Okay.
And now the Steelers at, 7-6, lead the AFC North. Go figure.
Go figure.
All right.
All right. Here we go. Hey, did you see where the Saints won yesterday? How about that?
Yeah.
I didn't see that coming.
Here we go.
All right, here we go.
Yeah,
Hey, the
moving
Jags
on.
won too, by the way.
They sure did. Jags are leading the division.
Whoa. how
Yeah,
about that?
big blow. They went over the Colts.
Mm-hmm. All right, here we go.
Get him a drink.
Yeah. Ooh, I've heard that before. This guy needs a cocktail. Oh, we got here. What's we got here?
A seal goes into a bar.
I did see this. How about this?
Okay, this is in New Zealand. Sounds like a joke. Seal goes into a bar.
Sure did.
The bartender says, what do you say? Hide the salmon? Now, this is...
I mean, Seal needed a drink. I hear you. Now,
that's
Barry, I
Bill.
want to know where did the seal come from to get into the restaurant?
Maybe it's like Spinnakers. Maybe it's like, like near the beach or something like that.
That ain't where you want to be, Seal. That's probably not a very
believe me.
sanitary area.
Yeah, it probably smells terrible. Okay, so that's there we go. That's another. See, this is one of the things we like about Gurn. I mean, he'll give you Steelers, Baltimore playoff game, but then he'll give you Seal walks into a bar in New Zealand. You know,
And look what you get. Beautiful. Love it.
Yeah.
Good stuff there. 3 more to go. Blue, red, yellow. Victoryland 777 topic wheel. Where would it land? Looks like the blue.
Finally, thank God.
Okay.
Yes.
What's this?
Oh, I thought this was John's graduate. Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. Never mind.
It was actually.
Okay.
Hey, the Browns actually win?
No, they didn't. Look at
No.
this. This is the touchdown to get them to within 2. Really good play. Can't think of the name of the tight end, but Shedeur Sanders played. He threw for like 360 for the
No
Browns.
way. Where the
Against
Browns get
terrible
those
Titans.
uniforms?
Yeah,
Ugh,
those are terrible.
really?
You can't. So Shedeur, he actually looked good in front of about 45 people. And then this is on the 2-point conversion. And the Titans hang on.
We got to find that Jeremy Bedard play so you can see how long that pass was. I'm interested.
Yeah.
That was kind of like that one in that clip.
This was their 2-point conversion, which was doomed from the
Yeah,
start.
come on.
And the Titans win it.
Do that
Sanders
stuff.
played
Ridiculous.
well, though. Shedeur showed a little something against a terrible defense, by the way.
Yeah. Titans are horrible. They're pretty
Really
bad.
bad.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
Really,
they need a new
really
stadium.
bad. Yes.
It's coming. All right, 2 to go. We need is the Kansas Jayhawk color scheme.
As always.
And
Panic time or no playoff for you. This is panic time.
panic time, not to be confused with hammer time.
Oh, yeah. This is the big story. Again, it was a battle between 2 teams leading the division, and the Jaguars playing at home beat the Colts 36-19. But I don't know the extent of the Achilles injury for Daniel Jones, who had been balling out.
Ooh.
Well, hang on. Which is da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, that's the Bears. Bears beat the Colts. I mean, Bears end up winning last night. Bears
Beat the
end
Pack.
up beating the Packers. Now Daniel Jones, I don't know. He's on he left with an Achilles injury. Riley Leonard, who played well for Notre Dame last year, former Duke, he was forced into action for the Colts after Daniel Jones had to leave. It was an Achilles. We should know more about that today, but I'm just here to tell you, they had been playing so well. Daniel Jones had been playing so well, but if he's hurt and if he's gone for the rest of the year, Colts have no chance.
It'll be a tough finish
Yes.
for the Colts. All right,
Yes,
one
but
more-
they don't care because Indiana beat Ohio State, so the state is
Yeah.
very happy. Yes.
All right, one more to go. We got to spin it to make it official. That's how the rules state. And I can't read upside down or when it's moving. So let's
It
see what we got
says
here.
no playoff for you.
No playoff for you. Huh.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
The Chiefs look terrible. Texans won. That was last night, Football Night in America.
Uh-huh.
The Chiefs look bad. I mean, Mahomes looked bad. And again, the Texans under Demico Ryans, that's an inside joke. They end up winning at 20-10.
Yep.
Texans, they won their 5th straight. The Chiefs aren't going to win the division for the first time in 9 years. And they just looked awful on offense. Mahomes looked
They're
terrible.
getting old, Barry. I think they're getting old.
Yeah.
Yep. And I tell you, the Texans defense is pretty good, led by Will Anderson. They're playing well.
Yeah, they really are. Not just him, Daniil Hunter, some of those other guys on the back end, really good for the Texans. So that had a lot to do with it. It wasn't just all the Chiefs, but the Chiefs have looked bad the last 4 games.
You know, Barry, you look at the NFL standings, there's a lot of teams that are kind of in that 500 and below area. I just don't really see any. There's a few out there, but I don't see a lot of teams that are just blowing me away, head and shoulders. Oh, this is the cream of the crop in the NFL. I think the playoffs could be really interesting. We might have somebody new in the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah, who do you like now? I mean, is it the Patriots? The Patriots are 11-2. The Broncos are 11-2.
Another win by them yesterday. Yeah. Is that 10 in a row?
10 in a row. Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. Those are the 2 teams with the 2 best records. But John's right. Other than that, a lot of 8-4s, 7-6s. Buffalo's 9-4 with their win. Yeah. It's just there's some good teams. Just only 2 teams have been really.
So is that
really
what
good.
You want in college football? A couple of 9-4 teams making the playoff. Letting those group of 5s go do their own little thing, pat them on the head, and say, "Oh, y'all are doing great over there."
By the way, shout out to the Rams in Seattle. They're both 10-3 in the best division right now, and that's the NFC West. So there you go.
Hey,
that's our Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, brought to you by Victoryland 777 Casino, exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama, where you can be a winner too.
Hey, have you been able to dig up a picture of DeBoer in that suit that he had on Saturday?
No, but I'm going to take a look at it. Somebody told me he looked like the bad guy in The Sting.
Yeah, he kind of did. Yeah, he really did. It was an interesting look. I will say that. I don't think he bought that suit in Tuscaloosa, but that's just
well. I know a place in Tuscaloosa where you don't have to buy a suit; they'll just give it to you.
Yeah.
Menswear.
I don't know if that place is still in business or not. Who knows? I bet tomorrow, Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, will join us on the program. Also, Travis Ryer on YouTube. Look forward to talking to those 2 gentlemen. Also, thanks to Tom Luganbill for joining us during the entire football season. Really appreciate that. He's taking a little R&R out on the slopes this week, but looking forward to seeing him next Tuesday here in Montgomery for the Troy-Jacksonville State game.
Thanks to all of them and our producer, Gurn Jr. He's John Longshore. I'm Barry McKnight. It's Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News presented. Oh, hang on just a minute. Okay. Theotis. Quint was not the bad guy in The Sting. Theotis, the bad guy in The Sting, same actor, Robert Shaw.
Yeah.
But Robert Shaw was Lonergan in The Sting. Quint was the bad guy he was the guy that got eaten by the shark in Jaws.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah, Longshore and McKnight.
We're going to need a bigger boat.
There you go. Longshore and McKnight in association with Yellowhammer News, presented by Bud Light.